That was what I was after. And so I got started a cadetship on the Canberra Times in 1989, and yeah, photographed sport and news, and it's just sort of rolled on from there.
Now, you were lamenting a little earlier this afternoon that the job has become so desk-bound that you're dying to get out into the field again. What is the excitement of being out in the field?
I know you're on the go. I mean, quite often, there's the adrenaline's, pumping. Especially if you're in a news job, or even if you're just, pushing for deadline, and you're just out and about. You kind of, there's an element of freedom to it as well.
What about creativity?
Creativity, absolutely creativity, because you're always sort of thinking and you're taking photos, and they might not be sort of big news jobs. They might just be sort of a portrait of somebody, but you're still thinking, and you're getting sort of lovely images, lovely light, all those sorts of things. There's an element of an unknown as well, which is always good. You don't quite know what you're going to expect or what you're going to get, and that always makes it a little bit more exciting as well.
And you were saying earlier as well that maybe photojournalism is sort of coming back into fashion more, like there's more of a need for it in news.
Well, I think it is, because I said you can look at the case of the Chicago Sun-Times that sacked their entire photographic department, and we're all photographers and photojournalists sort of up in arms, but I think it's an indication of where things are headed. And so I think if you, as a reporter or as a journalist, can take photos, take even video, but especially photos, it's going to be a feather in your cap. So I think moving forward, and maybe 5 or 10 years down the track, when new crops of reporters and journalists are coming out of universities, if they've got a photographic knowledge and a bit of photographic training, which is basically what the true sort of photojournalist is, that's going to play into their hands, and it's going to see the sort of the rebirth of the photojournalist.
And as a photojournalist, what kinds of additional skills are important?
Are you talking about sort of being able to write and take photos, or was there anything you had in mind?
Yeah, any other skills, maybe even editing or...
I mean, editing's always good. Being able to self-editing, as you probably know, as journalists, is quite hard to do. So if you can get good at that, that's a feather in your cap as well.
Well, let's go through the scenario. You're going out today to shoot Kevin Rudd, who may be giving a speech in the Queen Street Mall. What gear are you going to take so that you can take the best pictures and get them back to the newsroom quickly? And what are you going to look for when it's about taking a shot of a politician? I mean, we see a lot of them. Some of them do stand out as being spectacular. Yeah. But how do you make sure that you get that shot?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I've got my iPhone or my smartphone, because lots of people don't have iPhones. If it's a really urgent job, get an iPhone pic, get it back to the office, and then this is my DSLR, which is a Canon. This is the office equipment. I use Nikon, but it's much of a muchness. This has an 18mm to 200mm lens, so you're going from nice and wide to sort of telephoto. So this is a great lens. It means you don't have to be on a news job, especially for reporters who aren't used to sort of cameras and camera gear. They don't have to worry about changing lenses, and it's the sort of last thing they need to do if they're on a job reporting. So this is like a one size fits all sort of lens, and a lot of people, once again, it sort of might get a bit precious because it's not like what you call a fast lens. But in this day and age with technology and cameras, all you need to do is crank your ISO up. Hopefully I'm not getting sort of too technical, but you can bump your ISO up to even 1600 or 2000 and the quality is still going to be great. And that means it sort of negates any sort of, lack of speed as such from your lens. So this is, I think, a 5.6 lens, 3.5 to 5.6, which hopefully somebody will understand what that means. I won't go into too much detail, but like I said, if you're in a situation like this, crank the ISO up, and the quality is going to be fine. If it's even for print media or for online, it's more than enough.
Now, do you have to come back with those pictures though to the studio, or can you? Is there a way of?
You can, yeah. Hopefully, whoever you're working for will give you a nice new laptop, and
doesn't include the ABC.
Exactly.
If that's not the case,
I just
what do you do? How do you
have
get them back
a book
up?
of cab charges and jump in a cab and run like hell. Yeah, I mean, like I said, ideally with a laptop, and it's just like being at home. You have your card reader, download it into your laptop, and email it. That's probably as quick as any these days. Just getting it back to the office.
Well, I was working with you at the ABC during the Brisbane floods, and we have an apartment in the middle of the city, and I was able to go down and take some photographs of floodwaters on the Charlotte Street and Albert Street, where the new Rio Tinto building is, and I was able to email those back to you, and they were run on the ABC website and on the Canadian Broadcasting website. So somebody who knows nothing about photojournalism can do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you were talking before about the immediacy of having your iPhone. Do you ever use social media when you're out on a job?
No, actually, well, funnily enough, having said that, I mean, we get a lot of photos from reporters via Twitter. That's was the same as, I guess, was probably even quicker than email, really, because you can just upload it straight onto Twitter or Facebook. I guess I'm a little bit old school, that I'm still working on email, and there aren't too many times when I'm sort of racing out to news jobs. Normally I'm sort of sitting behind the desk collating everything. But yeah, if I was on a job, especially with with my iPhone, or even if I had DSLR on the laptop, I'd probably tweet it or something and just sort of get it back as quick as. So we do get a lot of, not only from reporters but from the general public. So we often turn to Twitter first if there's a breaking news story.
Getting back to the example that Bruce gave before, say you're going out to get shots of Kevin Rudd making a speech, what's going through your mind? How do you approach that story?
A lot of people sort of get, especially I guess I'm thinking reporters kind of almost get scared of photos. I think photos are this big sort of scary thing. I mean, basically what we do exactly what you do, but we do it with images, you do it with words. So it's kind of just, I mean, if you've got time, it's like, well, just look at a situation and think, well, what is this story, I mean, and from my point of view as a photographer, I'll go and I'll be sort of, thinking, you can't predict the future, so you don't know what's going to happen, but you always get a wide shot, like a crowd shot, get a tight shot, get like mid shot. It's kind of, I guess, what you're thinking with words and with stories. You're going to have this general overview, like 1,000 people congregated in the Queen Street Mall to see Kevin Rudd, blah, blah, blah. So the idea is get a photo of like 1,000 people as such. Maybe not all 1,000, but a lot of people showing, a shot showing the crowd with Kevin Rudd. Get a tight shot of Kevin Rudd talking, because once again as a reporter, you're going to sort of quote Kevin Rudd, so you're going to kind of like focus on Kevin Rudd. So you want a nice tight shot of Kevin Rudd talking, and just get other shots. If there's any interesting looking people in the crowd, or if somebody in the crowd's getting really cranky and yelling abuse, get a shot of them. Just read the situation, and once again, I mean that's going to just come with practice. I mean, I can remember my first sort of job as a cadet. I was just a headshot of a bloke sitting at a table, and I panicked like nobody's business. But as you progress with time, it's like driving a car. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more it becomes second nature.
So, like journalism